Hello bass lovers, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about my homemade bass, which is kind of one of a kind actually. We've built this together with my dad at home. As you can see, it's heavily inspired by the classic EB1 bass from Gibson, but also combined with some kind of jazz bass configurations. So, let's start from the body. The body is made from one piece of aged wood. So the wood that we use to build the body is called Tanganyika walnut. So it's a particular type of walnut. And the piece of wood that we've used to build this body was aged for 30 years. And then this kind of a finish, as you can see with the light, it creates this beautiful light illusion, let's call it like this. And the beautiful thing is this called flamed finish. So this is a flamed Tanganyika walnut body. The particular things that differentiates this body from the original EB1 is this kind of violin kind of hole, which in the original EB1 I think it was just painted like some sort of sticker in the body. In this case, as you can see, there is actually an hole, so the body was cutted in this shape and from here to here, from one side to the other side. It's really cool, I like, because if you are dressed like this, maybe it seems like black. If you have something here, it changes color, and it's great. It's a great feature. I think that the beautiful thing about building a homemade bass is not like to have the race with great builder or luthier, because they obviously will eventually build better instruments. That's the point. The fun fact about homemade instruments is that we can create something unique, something you cannot find anywhere else. And this was the history of this bass. So we've talked about the body. Now move on with the neck. The neck was not built from scratch. I've got a very cheap bass which was called the Roytek. It was early 2000s brand, and they made bass and guitars, fender style, and this neck was so comfortable to me. It's cheap, yeah, it was defretted years ago, and we put back on the frets. So we also make the refret work in here, and it was so much better, because sometimes the major issue with the cheap necks is the fret work. And so we put the neck and try to do our best, which is not again as good as a luthier or a guitar builder would eventually do, but it gets the job done. So this is kind of a precision neck width, but with a very, very modern D shape. And I've maple, and I find it very comfortable in my hand. So I took off the neck from that cheap bass and say, why? I think we should use that neck, because it's so great. In this body style, it can be something different. This is kind of a black cheap nut. And again, it gets the job done. The tuners are the cheap tuners that came with the Roytek bass. Here you can see my signature, which was just made with a pencil and the headstock by hand. And this was the kind of a logo used in the band that I was played when we built this bass. I have to say that the wood of this bass sounds very well, actually, and so we have to compensate the homemade quality of the build with good pickups. So we choose to use EMG pickups, because they are very I think they are very true to the natural tone of a wood instrument. The bridge is a high mass bridge. I think I call it like 30 or 40 bucks or so, but it's really good. I really like this bridge. This is the EMG included electronic, and it's great because it's solderless. So you just do it on the go and without have to solder anything, and it works. So the electronics are pretty simple. We have volume, and tone control. Now let's hear the tone with these knobs wide open. It's so woody, let me use this term, because I don't know how else I can describe this tone. Let's switch to the front. We just use the front, the neck pickup now, so it's like a P bass sound like type of sound. So woody again. It's kind of interesting, and this is just the neck pickup, a la Yako. It's so particular, so unique, and let's go with the tone rolled all the way off. And again, it's kind of a particular bass. Let's try to use it with a pick, for example, or I just want to use the neck pickup because I really love this tone. It's so cool. And let's try some slap stuff with all the pickups and tone wide open. It's so cool again. And that's basically it. I can play it all day long, actually. Again, the playability is not the greatest, but I'm really proud of this bass because it's unique and it's kind of a piece of my heart because we've made it entirely at home with any professional tools at all, and this of course can be reflected in the playability and the construction quality. But I see it as a kind of a one-of-a-kind object that I own and I really love to have in my collection for maybe some particular tones or something when I want something aesthetically different. And of course, when you're playing something strange or particular or exotic, it will definitely brings you to play in unusual ways. So that's why I love this bass so much, and it's my homemade bass. I hope you find this video interesting, and let me know in the comment what you think about this bass, if you like the design of this bass. I have to say it's not the most comfortable bass, of course, ever, because again, I'm not a guitar builder, my dad is not a guitar builder, so we've made this entirely for aesthetic purpose. But I really think that design and comfort are all important if you want to play seriously an instrument. Again, let me know in the comment section what you think about it, if you like it, if you enjoy this design, and if you maybe built your homemade bass, or if you know someone who built his homemade bass. Hope you'll have a wonderful time and see you in the next video.